Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to an excited Wrestling Days because this is our third unreleased Mattel action figure video. We are going to have a look at loads of figures, basics, battle packs, elites, retros that never came out. This is our third video. We've already done two. Those have been so popular, so well received. I'm really excited to bring you this third video. So with that being said, let's get straight into it, shall we? Let's start with the category that I like to call Enzo. Enzo Amore, of course, was wrestling with WWE. He was in the cruiserweight division. He was down in 205 Live. He was the champion, actually. And Mattel had been making a lot of Enzo product before he was the champion in 205 Live. He was in a great tag team with Big Cass, a very popular tag team. And so he was actually one of the better sellers when it came to figures. So Mattel had loads of different Enzos that they wanted to get out. Sadly, he was released. He was fired because he was being investigated by the police, and he never actually told WWE that he was under investigation. That was all cleared up. It's all sorted now, so I feel comfortable talking about this. But these are the Enzo figures that were scrapped, that never came out. Let's start with this. This is Enzo Amore Basic 85. I think it looks absolutely awesome. I think the reason that Enzo figures were so popular was because it was so detailed. Like, they had loads of tattoo detail, there was loads of logos, decals. You can kind of see that on this figure. It's like black attire with loads of logos. I think it looks really cool. This would have made a very good basic. So yeah, bit of a shame that we never got that. I do need to give a shout out to Tommy_Slav_wrestling_figs on Instagram. That's where I got this image from. Next up, we've got Battle Pack 52. This is Enzo and Big Cass. Of course, they were in a tag team together. They were in a feud against each other as well. This was actually sadly replaced by Sheamus and Cesaro. So we were meant to be getting this, as we said, in Battle Pack Series 52. The other Enzo item that never came out is the Ultimate Fan Pack. You can see that on screen right now. I don't think this came out in the US. It didn't come out here in the UK. If you was an Enzo fan, I think you would really appreciate that. Of course, we've seen this before as well. We have mentioned this, but makes sense to mention it again. And that is the Enzo Retro that, of course, never came out as well. Of course, Enzo would be released, and so would Big Cass. Big Cass got released at a later date. It's kind of amazing that both of them were in a tag team and they both went to the main roster and they both got fired. Crazy. But check this out. Look, this is a Big Cass retro figure. A Big Cass retro figure that never came out. Absolutely stunning. So yes, looks like you could have had Enzo and Big Cass in that retro line. But sadly, it wasn't meant to be. Let's take a look, shall we, at some other figures, some elites and basics and things. Let's start with this Natalya. I know that Bill McKenna, the head designer on the elite line, was absolutely gutted that this never came out. He was a real big fan of this figure. I know he's good friends with Natalya as well. This was shown not that long ago, but they just couldn't make it work. They just couldn't get it into the line. And apparently now it has been scrapped. I'm not sure if they're going to try and find a way of bringing it out in the future. I think that's a really cool t-shirt as well, that Two Paws t-shirt. She's never wore it, I believe, on the show, but Two Paws, her cat, has got like a really big social media following. So it was just a cool little accessory. and a really good looking figure. I don't believe we've ever had a Elite Natalya. Sadly, that has been scrapped. Next, Brad Maddox. Shout out to Showcase Collector. This is a Brad Maddox Build-A-Figure that never came out. Of course, Brad Maddox was released as well. He was doing a little bit of everything. He competed in ring. He was a referee for a time. Obviously, friends with Paige. And yeah, this was his figure, his Build-A-Figure, which sadly never saw the light of day. Another figure that never saw the light of day, Santa Foley. Look at this, Santa Foley. So this is Mick Foley in his Santa attire. Mick Foley famously absolutely loves Christmas. I believe he's got a Christmas room in his house, which is incredible. His daughter is called Noel. So that's how much he loves Christmas. And so, yes, they were going to release this Santa Foley figure. No idea why it was scrapped. Perhaps they got the response back that people weren't that interested. I really don't know, but that would have been a very fun figure. Next up, we've got Batista. This is Batista in the Monsters line. You know, the Mattel Monsters line. Well, yeah, this is a Batista figure that never came out. How crazy! Really, really cool figure. I think they kind of went with, was it Roman that had that kind of look instead? I think they just switched it up with Roman Reigns. Batista obviously would leave the company after WrestleMania 30. So obviously that run not going the way he wanted. I think he was promised the championship at WrestleMania 30, but they went with Daniel Bryan instead. So they maybe were working on this around that time, and then he left, and so it couldn't come out. Next, we've got One Man Gang. I've no idea how old this is, but wow, look at that. I'm told this isn't a custom. This is an actual One Man Gang Mattel figure. Apparently, One Man Gang got into like some legal disputes with WWE, and I think that's why this figure never came out. When Mattel first got the line, I know they did ask people, they asked fans what legends would they like to see, and I believe One Man Gang was an option. So there's every chance they'd already started working on One Man Gang. If the fans wanted it, then they could have released it. If they didn't, perhaps then they planned to release it later on. But obviously when he got into that legal dispute, that then of course meant they couldn't release it later on. So yeah, very, very cool. Love the face on that. It's got a bit of animation to it, which I think is absolutely awesome. A few more to go through. We've got retros, Neville, Ryback, and the Ultimate Warrior. This is from Unreleased Wrestling Figs on Instagram. That is an account that I only found a couple of days ago. And I was like proper kicking myself because a lot of the stuff we've spoken about is on there. And I literally could have saved myself hours. Hours had I just gone to that Instagram account. But yeah, very cool Instagram account. This is where I found this information. Yeah, how cool is that? A Neville retro figure. It's made to look like when he was down in NXT by the looks of it, which is really cool. It's not even like main roster Neville. It's NXT Neville, like when he was the champion. Love that. And then there's one more thing to go through. I think I've saved the best till last. These are Hulk Hogan basics that never came out. Are you ready for this? Here they are. Look, you can see the two of them there. Hulk Hogan basics. I love these. They're both 80s, early 90s maybe for the Hulkamania one. But that blue one looks like it's got the same kind of face scan as the American-made Hulk Hogan, which is based on 1985. Now, I can't remember him wearing these long blue trouser bottom things, so I can't place this. I want to say 85. I want to say it's around that era as well. I find this figure absolutely fascinating. I'm fascinated by it. For Mattel to release a figure that I can't straight away say, yeah, that's 80s. Well, it's got to be 80s. It's got to be 80s. But where's it from? I'm amazed by it. I'm fascinated by it. I desperately want it. I want to do more research into it. Yeah, I love it. I love that figure. Hopefully now that Hulk Hogan is back, we will get those figures. I will get an opportunity to own that figure because it looks amazing. So, yeah, very excited by those. I can tell you there are a few more things. I pretty much put everything into this. But there are a few more things that we can explore in a future unreleased video. But honestly, I really did go all out on this one. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't seen the previous two, then check them out. I will put a link to the first one at the end of this video. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already, because of course we've got more videos on the way. And hopefully I see you again next time. Bye for now.